lot of frustration people run into when they first start printing actually happens before the paper ever goes into the easel. So there are a few things that you can do when you're setting up your enlarger that is going to just save you a ton of time later. If your negative is loaded correctly and your enlarger height is set properly, your focus is dialed in, and all these other things are in place, the rest of the printing process just becomes a lot more straightforward. So today we're going to talk about the basic setup that gets you ready to make your actual first print. Today we're focusing on the enlarger. And in this video I'm going to show you three things: how to load your negatives correctly, how to set your enlarger height for the print size you actually want, and how to make sure you're getting razor sharp focus. Nothing complicated, just some simple setup steps so you can get started off on the right foot. All right, let's get started by loading your negative. So the biggest key here is making sure your negative is seated correctly in the negative carrier and in your enlarger. So first, it's important to understand that your film has two sides. The shiny side is the base, and the dull side, that is the emulsion. So when you're placing the negative in the negative carrier, you want the emulsion side to be facing down. Now there's one other thing that can kind of trip you up, and that's the orientation of how things are projected. When the enlarger projects the image through the lens, the image flips as it lands onto the paper. So if you place the negative in the carrier exactly how you think it should be, so it looks normal, the image on the easel will actually look upside down. So all you need to do is rotate the negative in the carrier so it appears upside down when you're looking at it in front of you. The projected image will then look the way you expect it to when you start to print. Before you put the negative in the carrier, take an anti-static brush and gently brush off both sides of the film. An anti-static brush is just a small brush made for cleaning film and removing dust, because as you will learn, dust is your enemy. Next, place the negative in the negative carrier, making sure it's sitting squarely in the middle, again, emulsion side down. And here's a little trick that can help. Dim the room lights and turn your enlarger on so the light is projecting through the lens onto your easel. Then hold the carrier with the negative in it at a slight angle in the light path, and just slowly kind of rotate it around. The light and the angle is really gonna make any dust that's on the film stand out. And if you see something, just take your anti-static brush and just remove it before placing the negative into the enlarger. After you're confident you've gotten all the dust off the negative, slide the negative carrier into the enlarger. When you flip that lever down, it clamps the carrier in place and applies a little pressure to keep the negative flat and secure. So some enlargers work a little differently, but the idea is always the same. The carrier slides into the negative stage and is held firmly in place while you're printing. So now that the negative is in place, we can move on to composing and focusing your image. So first we have to talk a little bit about your enlarger easel. That is what actually holds your paper. So some easels are going to have cropping blades, and some easels will expose your full sheet with just a simple border holding the print down. Now I prefer 4-blade easels as it allows you to easily crop in on images evenly and a bit easier. But whatever you have, set it up and make sure it's centered under the enlarger. This is your printing surface, and it's where your unexposed paper goes. Next, make sure you set up your easel and adjust the blades for whatever paper and print size you plan to make. If your easel doesn't have blades, then you just want to position it and make sure it's centered underneath the enlarger. Now we're going to compose the image on the easel. To do this, put something white in the easel so you can clearly see the image being projected. If you have a scrap print laying around, use the back side of that. If you don't have any scrap prints yet, don't worry, you can simply use a piece of plain white paper. This just gives you a surface that you can clearly see the projection on, so you can compose the image and dial in your focus. So once your easel is in place, you can start composing the image and set the correct enlarger height. Turn your safe lights on and turn the main room lights off. Then flip your enlarger on. Now most enlarger timers are going to have a focus button or switch that's going to turn the light on while you're setting things up. If yours doesn't, just set your timer for a couple minutes or so you have enough time to work. Next, you're going to start by adjusting the enlarger height. So raise or lower the enlarger head until the projected image roughly fits the area of your easel where you want to print. And as you're doing this, you can also start bringing the image into rough focus using the focus knob. The higher the enlarger height, the larger the image is going to be. The lower the enlarger height, the smaller the image becomes. You'll see this change as you move the head up and down. Once you're close to the size and focus you're looking for, go ahead and lock the enlarger column in place And it's at this stage you're just gonna get things close to dialed in. It doesn't have to be perfect yet. Once the image size is rough, focus looks good, we can move on to fine focusing. You wanna make sure you get a very sharp print. You don't wanna start wasting paper on out of focus and fuzzy prints. To do this, we use what I always called a grain finder or a grain focuser, because that's like exactly what it does. It allows you to actually see the grain structure of your film focused onto your paper. And this is gonna show you when your print is actually perfectly in focus. So next, open your lens up all the way to your largest aperture. If that's 2.8, that's fine. If it's f4, it's fine. Whatever the setting is, open it up all the way. This is gonna do a couple things. It's gonna give you more light and make it easier to see. It will also give a narrower depth of field on that paper, so there's a plane of focus there. And it's gonna cause the actual grain to pop in and out of focus so you can see it better, and it's just gonna be more noticeable. If your Enlarger has a white light or no filter setting, switch it to that now as well. And if you're using contrast filters, just take them all out of the light path, as you want as much light here as possible for focusing. Place the grain finder on the paper where you want to focus. Start near the center of the image and look for a critical detail. If you're working with really fine grain film, the grain itself can be a little bit elusive and harder to see. In that case, focus on a small detail because that can often work better. Something like an eye, a sharp edge, or a textured area in the scene can make it much easier to dial in precise focus when you're dealing with really fine grain film. Now, as you adjust the focusing knob on the Enlarger, you're gonna see the grain structure kind of pop in and out of focus when you're looking through the grain finder. And what you're really looking for here is the grain of the film itself. When the grain snaps into sharp focus, you know that the image is tack sharp. If the grain looks soft, keep adjusting the focus until it becomes crisp. Now take a moment to reassess the crop on your easel once it's in focus. You may need to raise or lower the Enlarger head to slightly fine tune the framing and crop. If you change the image size, just remember you're going to have to refine focus the image. And once the image is framed the way you want it, just check the focus one more time and make sure everything is crisp. Now that everything's sharp, you can turn the Enlarger off, turn your room lights back on, and stop the lens down to your working aperture. Now, I usually recommend stopping down 1 or 2 stops from wide open. That's just typically where the Enlarger lens is the sharpest. So for example, if your widest aperture is 2.8, your working aperture will usually be like f4 to f5.6. Okay, now that your image is composed, focused, and the lens is set, the next thing we need to decide is the contrast of the print we want to start with. Now we do that using contrast filters. So you can go ahead and place a filter into the Enlarger, and that's because with variable contrast papers, you can control the contrast through filtration. Contrast is simply the relationship between the brightest whites and the deepest blacks in your print. When you use a low contrast filter, the image moves more gradually from white to black, and that gives more gray tones in between. When you use a high contrast filter, the image moves more quickly from white to black. That gives you fewer gray tones and stronger separation between white and black. So the higher the number filter, the more contrast, and the lower the number filter, the less contrast. And these filters typically come in ranges or steps from 0 to 5. Now different Enlargers handle filters in a few different ways. You may have a standard condenser Enlarger, and there's often a filter drawer above the negative stage. This is a great place to slide the filters in. If your Enlarger doesn't have a drawer like this, you can also use below the lens filters, and that just sits right underneath the Enlarger lens. Now other Enlargers like my Saunders here are specifically made for black and white printing using variable contrast papers. Now on these, the filters are actually built right into the head, and you can simply dial in the contrast you print. Now the other type of Enlarger you may have is called a color head Enlarger, and if that's what you're using, don't worry, it works perfectly for black and white printing. So instead of physical filters, you'll adjust magenta and yellow filtration on the Enlarger to match the contrast setting you want. The important thing to understand is that no matter which system you're using, the filtration is doing the same thing. What matters is understanding how the contrast scale works. So like I mentioned earlier, the lower the filter numbers give you softer contrast, and the higher filter numbers give you stronger contrast. So a simple place to start, if you have no idea, is just to start with a number 2 filter. That's right in the middle of the scale, and it gives you room to adjust in either direction. Then if your print is looking too flat, you can increase the contrast towards a 3 or a 4 or even 5, If it's looking too harsh, you can then lower it towards 1, 0, or even 0, 0 if necessary. So go ahead and set your enlarger to filter number 2, however your enlarger does that. And before we move on, here's one small thing that can save you a lot of time later. If you find yourself at the perfect enlarger height for something like an 8x10 print, or anything standard really, just take a moment to write down your setup. Most enlargers have a scale on the column, so you can simply note the enlarger height there. If yours doesn't, you can just measure from the paper plane to the bottom of the lens and record that measurement instead. You'll also want to write down the lens you're using, your working aperture, the filter number, paper type, and the developer you're printing with. Having those notes, it just goes a long way in saving you time in the future. It gives you a reliable starting point the next time you print with the same setup and materials. So before we move on, let's just run through a quick checklist to make sure everything is set. Is your negative loaded correctly? Emulsion side should be facing down. You can also check this by looking at the image projected on the easel. If the image appears reversed or upside down, that's telling you the negative is not orientated correctly in the negative carrier. Is your easel set to the correct size and centered? Is the enlarger height set so the image fills the area you want? Is the image properly focused? Is your lens stopped down to your working aperture? And finally, is your filter set? If all of that looks good, you're ready to move on. Now, one last thing to check is your enlarger timer. If you had it set to focus mode while you were working, switch it back over to the counter or the timer mode. This is what's going to control the exposure. Just give it a quick test, press the button and make sure the enlarger turns on and off properly. You don't need to set an exposure time yet. We'll figure that out with test strips in the next video. For now, just make sure the timer is working consistently, and now you're ready to print. So in the next video, we're going to make your first test strip and figure out the correct exposure for your print. After that, we're going to go through evaluating your print, adjusting contrast, making your first actual real final print, and documenting everything so you can repeat the process consistently. By the end of this series, you will have made your first beautiful darkroom print, and more importantly, you're going to understand exactly what's going on at each stage of the process. Now, what we've covered today is the basic setup. It gets you printing, but the truth is every darkroom setup is a little bit different. Your enlarger, your lens, your paper, they all affect how contrast and exposure respond. So if you want your printing to become predictable and repeatable, there's a simple way to dial in your system. I show exactly how that works in my free Darkroom Masterclass link below. Also, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the rest of this series, and let me know in the comments, what enlarger are you currently using now? I'll see you in the next video.